Welcome back. These and other definitions indicate that FMEA is generally used in product development. So the idea behind FMEA is to develop a product around it. That's why it's a part of lean manufacturing, lean techniques overall. It's not really intended to be used post hoc. It's intended to be used pre-hoc and anti-hoc. Because it's so robust and effective, though, risk managers have co-opted it into operations management to analyze actual or potential failure modes within existing systems. Currently, these types of assessments take place only after serious adverse events. However, the procedure is amenable to pre-morbid evaluation of any high-risk process. Putting together an effective team that has direct experience with the activity under evaluation or with similar products or processes, FMEA could become a tool that saves significant resources in any organization. Croteau, whom I've asked you guys to read, is an Apollo engineer. He suggests improving FMEA teams by including healthcare consumers on them to ensure that findings reflect the consumer's actual experience. Now, there's a lot of argument about that, and he talks about this in his article, and I've heard it in other places as well, that having a patient on the team means you can't talk as freely. You can't say, oh, we screwed up. Why not? Why can't you have an individual on the team that will help you not screw up, but be frank in front of him? He knows you screw up. She knows you screw up. You're a human being. And so is this consumer. Include this consumer on the team. Have input from an end user or a recipient of care. You will have a better procedure because of it. Now, depending on the source, there are anywhere from 6 to 8, some say 4 actually, some say 12, but the most I've seen is 6 to 8 steps in FMEA. The 8 you see here are my amalgamation of them. And what I've identified are: 1, define the extent of the process under analysis. So how big is it? Assemble a team of analysts appropriate to the project. You might want to include a consumer on that. Identify the failure modes themselves. Determine the effect of the failure modes. Arrange the failure modes in order of priority. This one kills. This one saves a couple of minutes. Which one's more important? Put them in order. Determine the causes and the enablers for each failure mode. And then plan the corrections, and then implement the plans. To enhance the likelihood of a successful FMEA, which is in itself kind of a high-risk procedure, Croteau recommends conducting proactive risk analysis on the FMEA and on RCA, which we're going to cover, like I said, briefly later. This is really kind of an interesting approach to take failure mode and effect analysis, which is a risk assessment tool, and risk assess it, which is why he titled his article Risk Assessing Risk Assessment. But it makes so much sense. The table he provided on page 349 of the paper gives excellent examples of how this could work. And the idea of such an evaluation is not to make the FMEA process perfect or anything downstream of that process. Instead, FMEA should focus on using whatever information is readily available to rapidly assess and improve the existing processes. Seeking more than necessary information or attempting to achieve process perfection could actually have a deleterious effect. Don't let perfection get in the way of success. My grandfather said it. Some grandfather somewhere else in the world, maybe yours, said it too. Now, there are several examples of good being good enough, and I love the article by Lannon and Danny that I have you guys reading. They have 5 projects presented in a very foreshortened case study. 4 out of those 5 are nursing sensitive. They're pressure ulcers, catheter-associated urinary tract infections, or CAUTIs, catheter-associated bloodstream infections, or CABIs, and falls. Objects left in surgery are kind of nursing sensitive. There is a rotating nurse. There is a nurse assisting the physician, but the surgeon's presence really eliminates the nurse's relative influence on this outcome, so it's not really nursing sensitive. At present, each of these measures, though, the 4 measures, are under development, review, or maintenance in the National Quality Forum's Quality Measures Work Group. And they're part of an effort to eliminate the incidence of never events. These four nurse-sensitive indicators are all never events. The American Nurses Association is the measure developer and the steward for several of these measures, although not all of them. We're trying to get them back. The National Center for Nursing Quality, of which I'm one of the senior fellows, is developing electronic measures, or e-measures, that will use data captured in the National Database on Nursing Quality Indicators, NDNQI, to implement NQF Stage 3 for electronic medical record initiatives out of the Office of the National Coordinator for Health Information Technology. I know there's a whole lot of mishmash of alphabet soup, but that's Washington, D.C. for you. Ultimately, the initiative intends to be able to document trends, best practices in decreasing and eliminating never events, as well as disseminating best practices for healthcare improvement initiatives on all types of health quality topics. Among the many values of determining trends in and elimination of never events, there's a side effect. It's a really great side effect. Improving overall health quality, improving interprofessional and multi-stakeholder communications, removing waste from existing structures and processes that cost payers money, providers time and money, and consumers unnecessary pain, time, and money. Let me go through that again. These never events, as they exist right now, and poor quality anywhere else in the healthcare system, costs payers, which would be insurance companies, CMS, you if you're paying for your own healthcare, it costs money. Providers, you, me, physicians, social workers, it costs us time and money. And consumers, costs them pain, inconvenience, time, and money across the board. So improving quality is a huge issue. Now I'll come back with lecture 2, part 2 of lecture 2. Thank you.